Previously on Big Brother. Not even gonna hold y'all. This might be the craziest 3 stretch of episodes to start off a season of Big Brother I done seen in a minute. That game of telephone that they was playing towards the end of the episode after the veto competition was so unnecessary. And I'm tight because I really wanted to have faith in Jimmy. I already know how I was feeling about him from the last episode. I thought bro was solid. He wanted to get Rachel up out of there. He was using his noggin. He wasn't just glazing Rachel like a lot of the other house guests were to start off this challenge. But I don't know, production must have gotten his ear because all of a sudden now bro talking about oh, maybe Rachel could be good for my game. And to be fair, the logic was sound when he said that. But then not only do you go around this house talking about oh yeah, the replacement nominee, we talking about putting Keanu up, when Vince never agreed to doing that at all. Now, I thought I missed something because I heard in the confessional, Vince definitely said he was not interested in putting Keanu up on the block at all. But then I thought maybe he told Jimmy that in person, and in the confessionals, he was just like, I'm not really trying to do that. We know Vince been lying all episode. He even lied to Ashley again. I didn't even peep in the last episode that he had promised everybody that was in the HOH competition that they would not go up, just to end up putting Ashley up. And I know she was the easy vote to put up and everything like that. Everybody had the issue with her in the Showergate situation. But now your word looks crazy. People not gonna be able to trust you. You talking about if I win the veto, I'm gonna take Ashley off the block, knowing damn well you had no intention of doing that. Yeah, for Jimmy to go around the house telling everybody that Keanu's gonna be the replacement nominee when Vince never told him that was insane work. But then to tell Rachel that too, and I understand they in an alliance now, they in this heavy hitters alliance. If you look at who's in that alliance, it ain't no heavy hitters in my opinion. I know we're only at episode 3, but like, let's be honest here. We got Morgan, a perennial Rachel Glazer. Jimmy and Vince, who in this episode both showed that they cannot be trusted. Zach, who honestly, he's kind of the coolest one here. Riley, who deadass is just here. And then Rachel, who said in this episode she's trying to get rid of all of them one by one. Find out in this episode that Rachel is committed to the Mother's Alliance, though, that she set up with Amy in the last episode. So that's good. At least we know where her motivations lie for her. I know this recap is all over the place at the start, but bro, it was just a jam-packed episode. Start off where we left off in the last episode. Obviously, the nominees are feeling how they feeling about being put up on the block. Ashley is the most confused, asking Vince why was she put up to begin with. You said you weren't going to put me up and you still did. And he's just like, I didn't know how you were going to react. I didn't think you would react in this way. How else is she supposed to react to being put on the block after you told you was going to put her up? Then this man talk about if I win the veto, I'm going to take you off. Knowing damn well he lying. You don't have to say none of these words. Nobody's holding a gun to your head telling you to say this in production, bro. After this, Ashley knows for a fact she can't trust him, and she knows she has to play her heart out in this veto competition. You see Vince trying to do damage control with Amy and Zay after this as well. Amy's just kind of indifferent on the surface. And Zay talking about he might want to work with Vince after this eviction, so he figures he's selling his good side for right now. Which I think is smart from Zay. Like, there's no point in starting a beef, especially when a lot of the house voted you and thought you were the accomplice last episode. So just try to stay in people's good graces for the moment, I guess. Next, I gotta talk about Kelly because she confused me. In the last episode, she told Vince right after they made their final 2 alliance, look, if you want to put me up on the block, go ahead and do it. And it really was for no reason. Like, we just locked in a final 2. Why are you asking to go up on the block? And she kept bringing it up in this episode after Vince already made his nomination. She was like, damn, I really thought he was gonna put me up on the block. Are you not grateful that he managed to go about this without putting you on the block? I'm confused. You want to risk going home. What do you have to prove to anybody? We're only on episode 3. But we see she got her wish later on in the episode. Vince ends up putting her up on the block after Ashley goes ahead and wins this veto competition. The veto comp, we got the nominees, and then Zach and Rachel get picked to play as well. Vince tries to do damage control again ahead of the competition, asking them if they could just keep nominations the same if either Rachel or Zach go ahead and win because they're now in this new alliance. Vince gets hit with a reality check though. Neither of them are willing to keep nominations the same if either of them win the veto, which makes it even tougher on Vince because now anybody else other than Vince win, the nominations is changing. You have to put up a 4th person. Even though low-key Zach didn't want to change the nominations, he just told Zay that he would for whatever reason. People be talking way too much in these reality competition shows. It's way too early to be giving you a word like this and then backing out. Before we get to the challenge, I do want to comment on the fact that the Showergate does continue in this episode. Shit was so funny. Ashley was really taking a shower as they're picking nominees for this veto challenge. You can't make this shit up. She like she was in that shower for a minute too. She's not being those high water bill allegations. And she did all that showering just to compete in this nasty ass veto competition right after. Like a CSI type challenge, and Loki is right up Ashley's alley. She cooks and manages to win. It looks like Zay is just about to win. He was off by just one person, and Ashley manages to win the veto. Honestly though, it really didn't matter who won the veto. If it wasn't Vince, he was still gonna have to put somebody up new on the block anyway. It's just so ironic. If you just didn't put her up like you said you wouldn't have, you would not be in this situation right now. So at this point, I'm thinking Vince is a bozo. He's playing the worst game in the house right now. Jimmy heard me say that, and he said, you know what? hold my beer real quick. Before I get into Jimmy's proclamation of war later on in this episode, I do want to mention Keanu and Ava's interactions earlier on. Son Keanu was moving like Ava's Michael Myers in this episode. Everywhere Ava was at, this man Keanu just happened to be too. Makes the betrayal that she pulls on him later on the episode that much more foul. Also, we see Keanu having a conversation with Rachel in this episode where he gets real deep into his personal life, saying that his father has spinal cancer, unfortunately. So she now sees bro more than just as a dungeon master and a football player and etc. Looking like they might be allied going forward. It's not an official alliance, but we see from later on in this episode that Rachel definitely has Keanu's best interest at heart. Alright, now we're taking it all the way back to what I said about Jimmy mentioning Keanu being the replacement that Vince is going to put up after Ashley comes off the block. Like I said, Vince never said that. But Jimmy decides he's going to tell the whole house that this is the move, including Rachel, who I just said had a conversation with Keanu earlier on in the episode. She's not trying to see bro go home yet. So she relays this information to Keanu, and he's like, you know what? I'm not for all this dilly-dallying, this tit-tattling, none of that. I'm going to go right to the source. So he goes to Vince's HOH room, talks about the situation, and Vince immediately says, I said none of this. He said, you know, if you ask me, I think this is Jimmy trying to play his game. He thinks he's running everybody's game. He thinks he's playing the game for me. Actually, I think I'm going to put him on the block. So after confirming with Vince that he wasn't the one to put his name out from the start, Keanu decides he's going to go talk to Jimmy, try to get a clear answer out of bro on whether or not he was moving his name around the house. And we already know Jimmy was ducking all sorts of hate. Obviously, Keanu knows the truth, but he still tries to get close to Jimmy and make him think that they're closer than they actually are. At this point, I'm like, yo, Keanu's playing real deal 4D chess right now. And he really was until he went ahead and talked to Ava. Keanu tells Ava about what Jimmy's been spewing around the house, talking about he wants him up on the block. And for some reason, Ava decides it would be good incentive for her to go ahead and tell Jimmy the information that Keanu just gave her. Mind you, Keanu came to her in good faith. He wants to work with Ava. And Ava's a have-not. She can't go home this week. She can't be put on the block. So unless Jimmy's in a position of power next week, I don't really see the incentive in you doing what you did in this episode. If Keanu doesn't know already, he's gonna find out that you were the one that told Jimmy about all of this shit to begin with. When that happens, that's just one less relationship that you have. Everybody is so comfortable with lying in this show so early on. I'm not jacking these people who are really Big Brother fans. Relationships get you far in this game. The social game matters. And if people think they can't trust you, the moment they think they can't trust you and they're in a position of power, you're gone. Now Jimmy's going ahead and confirming with Vince that all these things that Ava told him is true. He confirms it, and now he's officially making Keanu public enemy number one. Now we get to the veto meeting, and Vince is kind of in a tough spot. If he puts up Jimmy, that's for sure another enemy that he has in the house. If he puts up Keanu, that's another enemy he has in the house as well. But he could put up Kelly, who volunteered to go on the block last episode. He should be okay with that, right? She volunteered to do it. And so that's what bro does. Puts his final two partner up on the block, risking it all. Risking her going home. But I mean, she did volunteer. And he did say, if you want to go on the block, you need to make sure that you're okay with whether you stay or whether you go. Now she got reap what she sold. I just find it funny that after this, she goes into the confessional talking about some apparently nominees go home. I'm like, what did you expect? Where did you think these niggas on the block was going after they got voted out? Kelly's fortunate enough to stay in this game after this week. She need to wake her ass up. She's a liability right now. Then we end the episode off with the most unnecessary speech of all time. This shit was giving Angela from BB 26 levels of unnecessary. This man Jimmy gets up and basically proclaims war against Keanu for bringing up his name, calling him a snake, all that. But Jimmy, you're the biggest hypocrite whole time. You brought up Keanu's name first. Do you not remember that? But now Keanu's a snake for wanting to make sure that the information lined up, that you were in fact the one who said his name. So yeah, I don't mess with Jimmy no more because bro, you gotta be able to stand on your 10. Or just don't say anything at all. You literally weren't put on the block. If you were put on the block, I guess I would understand you having something to say, but then you would still look like an asshole because you were the one who wanted to put Keanu up on the block to begin with. He has all right to defend his name. And Ava going out the episode talking about, I guess the meeting is adjourned. Really pissed me off this episode. You fumbled the opportunity to have a two-man alliance with Keanu. In other news, the mastermind look like he coming back next week. Very excited to see what he brings to the game after the first house guest of the summer is evicted. I thought this episode was great though. It was real dramatic. This season is coming with it real early. Leave y'all thoughts in the comments on who y'all think is going to win the first BB blockbuster challenge. And who do y'all think is going to be the first of these three house guests to go home? My own predictions real quick. I think Zay is going to win the BB blockbuster con. And I think Kelly's going home. Sayonara to our final two event. After this episode, he deserves nothing nice. Let me know y'all predictions in the comments. I've been your host Jay Suave. Hope we been entertained. And we go talk tomorrow for eviction night, baby. Peace.